Hey guys, this is John from Fear No Legal Ministries, and I'm coming to you with a Quickcast. Tonight I just wanted to talk about something that, just to add on to other discussions that we've had in the past, add on to something you might have talked about with somebody recently. When we talk about prayer, there's definitely a way to pray, right? And we don't all have to do it exactly the same way, but we were really given a blueprint by Jesus to give us a framework for our prayer, right? And that's always good to follow. If you open up your prayer the way that Jesus shows you to, then you know you're doing something right. Now, that doesn't mean that every single time you pray, you have to start out, Our Father who's in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That's not something that you have to do every single time, right? But that's just your framework. And of course, if you did that every single time, you'd be gold, right? You'd be right where you need to be. But we don't always do that. We sometimes just have something in our mind and we just start talking, right? But there are things that are just very necessary when you pray. And this isn't something you'll just find in one little spot in the Bible. This is something you have to scour the Bible for all the concepts of prayer in order to really put together in your heart, right? But one of the things that's very clear is God wants you to, before you pray to Him, to have your heart right, right? And so that's something that we're hopefully taught pretty commonly, and we need to know that you want to be forgiven before you ask for anything. And I think that's pretty normal, right? That's pretty normal in your just everyday relationships. You're going to see that that's a good way to approach things, right? I mean, can you just imagine like having a big fight with somebody or just being having somebody upset with you and they're still upset with you and you haven't said you're sorry, you haven't asked forgiveness, and then you just go and you're like, "Hey, can I borrow like $100 or can you give me a ride to the airport?" Or so, I don't know, it doesn't seem like that would go over well, right? So we know that just about our interpersonal relationships. When it comes to your relationship with the God who created you, that loves you, that does everything for you, that died for you, probably a good idea to ask forgiveness for anything you've done before you pray, right? Before you ask for anything. Um, so that's easy enough. That's a concept I think we all should have down, right? But one thing I don't want you to forget is when you pray and when you start and when you ask for that forgiveness, ask for help, right? That's not the end of your situation. That's not the end of your temptation. That's not the end of your sin. You're not just going to ask for forgiveness and then just now your heart is pure and you're just going to be fine every time you pray for the rest of your life, right? You're going to have that struggle. You're going to keep having a struggle. And so while you are praying for whatever was important enough for you to take your time to talk to your Creator about, isn't it also important to pray for help with that thing you asked to be forgiven for, right? Like, God, I'm sorry, I'm afraid. Okay, well, can you help me with that? I'm sorry that I don't trust you. Can you help me with that? You were created by a God who loves you, who wants to do everything he can to help you. And he wants you to ask. He wants to be involved in your life. He wants to be there with you through the things you're struggling with. He doesn't want to just be this request card, that you just fill out every now and then when you need something. And he doesn't want you just to hit your knees all the time and tell him how awesome he is. Not that he doesn't love hearing that from you, but how many times in the Bible can you count God telling you to ask him for help? I mean, that's a loving, being who just absolutely cares the world about you, right? More than we can imagine. How much do you always wish somebody would ask you for help when you find out they were struggling? And how much better is God than you, right? And how much more can He help than you? It's important. So it's good to ask forgiveness, and I want you to keep doing that. I want you to do that every time you pray, right? You want to be forgiven before you start praying because you don't want anything weighing you down. You don't want anything weighing your heart down when you pray because that's such an important moment and you don't want it tainted by anything like that. But while you're doing that, ask for help. That's what God's there for. It's He's here for us and he wants to be there for us and he wants to help you. So just don't forget, okay? Give it a shot. See how you feel. Anyway, look at that, under 5 minutes. So that's a win. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. God bless y'all.